Join me as I dive into the Bible to figure out what David did wrong and see if I can uncover some surprising lessons along the way. Hey there, fellow truth seekers. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's as old as time but as relevant as ever. It's a tale of power, lust, and the consequences that follow when we let our guard down. That's right, we're talking about the sin of David, the man after God's own heart who fell from grace in a spectacular fashion. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me ask you this. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you knew something was wrong, but you did it anyway? Maybe it was a little white lie, or perhaps it was something more serious. Well, buckle up, because David's story is about to show us just how quickly things can spiral out of control when we give in to temptation. Picture this. It's springtime in ancient Israel, and while kings are usually out leading their armies into battle, David decides to take a little staycation in Jerusalem. He's chillin' on his rooftop one evening when he spots a beautiful woman bathing on a nearby roof. Now, instead of looking away like a gentleman, David's curiosity gets the better of him. He asks around and finds out that this stunner is Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah the Hittite, one of his loyal soldiers. Here's where things start to go south, folks. David, in all his kingly power, sends for Bathsheba and, well, let's just say they get to know each other in the biblical sense. It's a classic case of abuse of power, and it doesn't end there. Nope. This one-night stand turns into a full-blown crisis when Bathsheba sends word to David that she's pregnant. Now, David's got a real problem on his hands. He's committed adultery, and there's a baby on the way to prove it. So, what does he do? Does he own up to his mistake? Confess to Uriah? Nah, he decides to cover it up. He calls Uriah back from the battlefield, thinking if he can get him to spend the night with his wife, he can pass off the baby as Uriah's. But here's the twist. Uriah is such a loyal soldier that he refuses to enjoy the comforts of home while his fellow soldiers are out fighting. Talk about integrity. This throws a wrench in David's plan, and he gets desperate. In a move that would make any villain proud, David sends Uriah back to the front lines with sealed orders for the commander. These orders put Uriah in the thick of the battle and then pull back, leaving him to die. It's a cold-blooded move, folks. Uriah, the faithful soldier, is killed in battle, and David thinks he's in the clear. He waits for Bathsheba to finish mourning, then brings her to the palace as his wife. Problem solved, right? Wrong. See, here's the thing about sin. It might feel like you've gotten away with it, but there's always a price to pay. God sees everything, and he's not happy with David's actions. He sends the prophet Nathan to confront David, and this is where things get really interesting. Nathan doesn't just walk up to David and accuse him outright. No, he tells him a story about a rich man who steals a poor man's only lamb to feed a guest, even though he has plenty of sheep of his own. David, hearing this, is outraged. He declares that the rich man deserves to die and should pay back 4 times what he stole. And that's when Nathan drops the bombshell. You are the man. Talk about a mic drop moment. David, the king who was supposed to be a shepherd to his people, had become the wolf. He had taken another man's wife and then had him killed to cover it up. This is where we see the true character of David. Instead of making excuses or trying to justify his actions, he breaks down and confesses, "I have sinned against the Lord." It's a powerful moment of repentance, but it doesn't erase the consequences of his actions. God, through Nathan, pronounces judgment on David. The child born to Bathsheba will die, and David's own household will be plagued with violence and betrayal. It's a harsh sentence, but it shows us that even those closest to God's heart aren't immune to the consequences of their actions. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's all well and good for David, but what does it have to do with me? Let me tell you, friends, this story is a wake-up call for all of us. It shows us how easily we can fall into temptation, how one bad decision can lead to another, and how the cover-up is often worse than the crime. But it also shows us something beautiful, the power of genuine repentance. David messed up big time, but when confronted with his sin, he didn't make excuses. He owned up to it, confessed, and sought forgiveness. And you know what? God forgave him. Yes, there were still consequences, but David's relationship with God was restored. So, what can we learn from all this? First, be on guard. Temptation can come when we least expect it, and it often starts with something as simple as a lingering look. Second, don't abuse your power or position. Whether you're a king or just someone with a little authority, remember that power comes with responsibility. Third, and this is crucial, folks, when you mess up, and we all do, don't try to cover it up. Be honest, confess, and seek forgiveness. It might be hard, it might be humiliating, but it's the only way to true restoration. And finally, remember that no matter how far you've fallen, it's never too late to turn back to God. David was called a man after God's own heart not because he was perfect, but because when he fell, he knew where to turn for forgiveness and redemption. So, here's my challenge to you. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are there areas where you've been compromising? Places where you've been abusing your power or trying to cover up your mistakes? It's time to bring those things into the light. Confess them to God and, if necessary, to those you've wronged. Remember, friends, we serve a God of second chances. No matter what you've done, no matter how far you've strayed, He's waiting with open arms to welcome you back. Don't let pride or fear keep you from experiencing the freedom of forgiveness. And hey, if this message has resonated with you, why not share it with someone who might need to hear it? Sometimes, all it takes is one person being honest about their struggles to help others find the courage to face their own. So, let's be like David, not in his sin, but in his repentance. Let's be people who are quick to admit our faults, seek forgiveness, and turn back to God, because at the end of the day, that's what truly makes us people after God's own heart. Thanks for joining me on this journey through one of the Bible's most powerful stories. Until next time, keep seeking truth, keep pursuing righteousness, and remember, no matter how dark it gets, there's always hope in God's forgiveness. Peace out, truth seekers.